Hello, everybody. It's Danielle from Wusa Holistic Health Coaching, back to have another conversation with you guys, hopefully that you will find interesting. At this channel, as you know, it's all things mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And normally, we're not talking so much about me and a physical manifestation, but every once in a while, it does happen. And since YouTube is all about the real and the raw, I guess we should get into what happened. So this past Sunday, I noticed a huge bulge starting to form under my skin in my abdomen area. It almost looked kind of like I've never had a hernia, but that's what it reminded me of based on being around other people that have and how painful it can be. And then these other little smaller, what look like cysts forming under my skin, but all in the abdomen. Now, I've already told you guys before, when something pops up out of nowhere, and there is no reason, rhyme, cause, it just appears, that is nothing more than communication and the body's way of letting you know, I need your attention, I need you to change something, I need you to add something to what you're already doing, take away something that your body's not liking. Well, the thing that is consistent with me is it's always, almost always, 99% of the time, it's some kind of negative emotion that I've been holding, and apparently my body wasn't ready to release it. Now, why all of a sudden, within the past week, is my body ready to take this particular malfunction and have it raise its head and wave the flag to get my attention? Interesting timing. Here I am on here talking to you guys consistently, letting you know that for the most part, I feel great, and that is all true. Highly energetic, bouncy energy. Don't live with aches and pains for the most part, unless my muscles are fatigued or something like that. But I really am quite fortunate. So when my body wants to get my attention to deal with some emotions that apparently I haven't dealt with, it's usually kind of drastic. It's not subtle, and this has definitely not been subtle. I have been in bed a lot because it's been very hard to move. Now I am back at my kitchen counter, but I won't be here for long because I don't want to use too much of my energy trying to feel or look comfortable when I'm not comfortable. But I did want to tell you an update on what I found out. So last night I got out what I use with my clients. It's called a body map. So what people don't understand is sometimes it's not just what the malfunction is that can give us a clue as to what's wrong, but where is the malfunction? How did it show up? Did it show up as a rash? Did it show up as just pain? Did it show up as a boil? Did it show up as a cyst? And then where? So I may or may not have shared in the past that when something shows up as a malfunction in the abdomen area, it almost always has something to do with our inability to digest our emotions, or an event or experience that we've had. We can't stomach it somehow. But then depending on how it manifests, that can also give us a clue as to what's bothering us. So when like knots or cysts or bumps type of things form, that happens when it is emotions. I have it actually written down here. Another way of describing that would be an emotional pocket of stress, a cyst. So the different emotions that can look like a cyst that can get trapped is guilt, fear, anger, and even terror. So when I went deeper into my body mapping and looked at the different possibilities based on where the bumps showed up, on the map, it was that I had some suppressed rage and sadness. I needed to focus more on what I can control regarding my circumstances instead of the things that I can't. Whatever it is what it is. And I can't dwell on it. I have to let that go. I have to affirm myself. I have to deal with these undigested emotions. And the biggest area where the knot is, the most sore spot, is just an inability to deal with negativity. Sounds like me, big time. But the fact of the matter is there's some residual negativity apparently around, and I've buried it in my stomach. So I need to be able to release those things for all of them to dissolve, and most of them are already dissolved pretty good. But the biggest one is the inability to digest negativity. That's my stubborn spot. So I'm doing the physical things, which is just like soaking a cotton pad with a castor oil and tea tree. That's a natural way to dissolve a cyst without like opening things, and then like putting warm compress or heating pad on it. That's the practical stuff. But the deeper work is dealing with these emotions. Now, the good thing about me is I don't usually need to do a bunch of different modalities. And oh my word, you need to go on this machine, and you need to be hooked up to this computer, and you need to be doing a bunch of emotional freedom technique or tapping. I don't usually need a lot of that. The number one thing I need personally is awareness. I need to know what's going on with me deep on the inside. I had no idea that I had any leftover residual negative emotions that I had to release. I need to do let them a whole lot better, the let them theory, where we don't attach any of our emotions to other people's behavior, decisions, or reactions. Apparently, I need to do better with that. When it comes to the outcome of the death of my spouse just a little over a year ago, I had some expectations, and apparently the disappointment of not seeing things play out the way I thought that they would, that gave me some not so nice feelings that I've been holding inside my stomach. And you know, we're all human. And for me, when I get all that stored information out of the back of my brain, out of my subconscious, and I bring it to the front and I can look at it and deal with it, that's usually enough for me to release it. Another thing I have to do is just let go of a need for things to turn out the way that I thought they would. I have to let that go. But again, I couldn't let it go because I didn't know it was a problem in the first place. So now that I know it is a problem, now I know what I need to do about it. So that's why I'm so grateful that the body does keep score. The body never lies. It always tells us what's really going on with us, but are we actually willing to look? Let me see if I've forgotten on anything that was uncovered when I was doing my body map. Undigested emotions, accept situations the way they are because I can't control. So yeah, basically little pockets of stress formed underneath the skin, and in order to get my attention, they hurt really, really bad. So now it becomes something that you cannot ignore. I have to address all these things that maybe I've been dealing with so much this past year and taking on all of these different roles that I never had to before, learning skill sets that I didn't have to deal with, that I just kind of pushed it way to the back unknowingly. But for whatever reason, my body decided now's the time. I just think it's weird that it's the same time that I'm sharing my life and my work with whoever is here on this platform with me, helping me to create this holistic community. So when I say that I always considered myself to be my first customer, never did I ever think it was going to happen this soon, that you were going to see what that actually looks like. So I've been working with a health kinesiologist for many, many years, and she knows me very, very well. And so what I like to do is work on myself. And then I like to go back to her and just say, hey, this is what I discovered, double check basically based on how you approach things, see if we both draw the same conclusion. And as per usual, it was dead on. Every single thing that I discovered when I was doing the mapping was correct. But then it was just like, let's talk through the best way to handle it based on my personality, bio-individuality, and just how my brain and body works. So again, being aware of it was what I needed to know to help it to pass through. Just a little practical thing that I did, affirming myself that I can do this, and letting go of control of any kind of expectations of what I thought it was going to look like once I was in the situation versus what it has been like. Letting go of any of that and just accepting things for how they are is the exact formula for these cysts or pockets of stress to melt. By the way, am I telling anybody that that's what they need to be doing with their bodies? No, you can do whatever you want with your body. I personally am not interested in going under the knife. But what I will say is if anybody did, the average person saw what formed, they probably would just go have things cut out. Now, one of the reasons I would not do that is because the bottom line is when you cut things out without dealing with them, they just come back. They just come back. That's why a lot of times when people have, let's say cancer or something, and they have a tumor or cyst removed, and maybe even they have the body part removed with it, it often will just come back somewhere else on a different part of the body. We still are always going to be having to face our stuff and having to deal with it. And if we don't, our body will. And this is an example of my body dealing with some emotions that I had not yet dealt with. I know another thing that we talked about that would help is when I feel something, to feel it fully instead of distracting myself. So if it is anger, then just be okay with that instead of maybe using distraction to just not think about it, because then it's still in there brewing. Do you think that I feel good knowing that I've had suppressed rage and sadness trapped inside my stomach? No. I know how dangerous that is. And I know if left unattended for too long, it could be super dangerous and could really create a space for a chronic illness or disease to form. And that is way too big of a why for me to ignore whatever's going on with me. I have to deal with it, and I will. Also, making sure to acknowledge my body for telling on me, for keeping score, for not lying, so that I can take care of it and get back to who I am, which is a healthy, vibrant, bouncy, high energy person. That is how I want to live, and that is a big enough why for me to let this all go. But I couldn't do that until I was made aware of it. And now that I am aware of it, I intend to do just that. I hope that this really honest conversation is helpful to you. But again, I don't want you thinking I'm pressuring you like, oh, you found something in your stomach, maybe you should just do what I did to deal with it. I'm not putting that on anybody. That is your personal choice. I'm not your doctor. This is how I choose to take care of myself. And if it resonates with somebody else and they want to try this approach rather than going straight to pills, potions, and surgeries, great. This is my journey and how I've dealt with things that I've had. I've had cysts many times. I have never had surgery, but I have gotten rid of them naturally every single time. But is that something that I'm telling you to do? No. You can listen to it as a story time. You can listen to it and be inspired or intrigued. You can research it and make the same decision. It's completely up to you. So please do not get out there in the world and say, hey, Danielle told everybody in the world they shouldn't be having surgeries and they shouldn't be taking medicine. I didn't say that. But what I did say is that's what has worked for me. Now, when it comes to pills, I have said that taking pills can be like pushing the mute button or telling your body to shut up when it's trying to communicate with you and get your attention. But that's very different than now I know what's going on. I know what I need to address, but I just need to be more comfortable so I can whatever. Am I going to take some ibuprofen to help with swelling or pain management now that I know what the problem is and I don't need to mute anything because I've already heard the communication? Yeah, I'm not a martyr. I'm also not trying to have a baby without an epidural, just not doing it. Not trying to have a baby anyway, but you get the point. There is a time and a place for medicine. I just don't believe in, oh, I've got this migraine, let me just get the strongest shot ever, keep it moving, and not even try to find out why it happened so that something really dangerous doesn't happen inside of my head. That's where I'm coming from. Again, I hope this is helpful to somebody. I hope it makes sense. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to ask questions if you have them. If anybody's interested in looking at a body map, just Google them. They have them from the front of the body, the back of the body. Some of them are much more detailed, all the way down to like the fingers and toes and all of that. And some of them are more of a bigger screenshot of the front and the back of your body, starting from the head and going all the way down to the feet. So yeah, it's all available to you online if that's something that interests you. I know it's been very helpful for me when I'm trying to narrow down situations that's going on with me and my one-on-one coaching clients. So again, please subscribe if you like this information and content like it. There's going to be a lot more to come. Since this malfunction did show up, you guys are going to be the first ones to know when I've completely cleared it. I haven't had a cyst to clear in a while, so I don't know how long it's going to take this time, but I will definitely be very truthful for you when it's all clear. And I fully expect it to happen like it always has in the past. So thank you again for your attention, and I hope to see you guys here again tomorrow, and have a great night. Woosah.